Now, welcome back to the programme. Damien, I worked in childcare 39 years ago. We never got paid for Easter holidays or summer. I can't believe they're still doing that. So nothing has changed in 39 years. A lot of people texted in the word Stephanie for our competition for our book, Running in the Shadows by Stephanie Hickey. And the winner is Monica Walsh from Hawthorne Close in Hillview. Well done, Monica. You're the winner of the booking, collected here from Audrey at reception. So Running from the Shadows, it's a true story of childhood abuse and how one woman faced her past and ran towards the future by Stephanie Hickey. It's been launched in Dungarvan tonight in the Park Hotel from 6:30, 7 o'clock. Everybody's welcome, Stephanie says, and Shane Dunphy is the co-author on it. Firstly, before I play the interview I did with Stephanie, Damien, Montessori School in Kilmacow has opened up in the village. The two staff there are absolutely amazing. As a parent, I'm so lucky to have my children in the hands of such qualified staff. Thank you, Helen, for bringing such a wonderful service to our community. Isn't that wonderful? Some people asking questions about the voting patterns. One person said, Damien, I'm 60 years of age. For the first time in my life, I don't know who to vote for. Another person, Damien, if you're in hospital, how do you vote? Can you ask Seamus? I'm afraid Seamus was gone before that came out. Damien, I'm not sure if his explanation on the surplus being calculated is correct. I think it's based on a random bundle. All of the 14,000 votes are not looked at. Well, Seamus should know, and Seamus said that they are all looked at, so we'll look for clarification on that, but I'm nearly sure they are. Now, Stephanie Hickey lives in County Waterford with her partner. She's 4 children, runs most days in the townlands where she grew up. She completed a half marathon in 6 months after taking up running and has never looked back. I had a chat with Stephanie Hickey, whose book has been launched tonight in Dungarvan. Stephanie, we're having a cup of tea. How's it going?
Not too bad, Damien.
Let you have a sup of the tea there. We're here in Dungarvan. We're in the Park Hotel. This is the venue for the launch of your book tonight. Just got a copy of it there in front of me. Running from the Shadows. A true story of childhood abuse and how one woman faced her past and ran towards the future. Stephanie Hickey with Shane Dunphy. Can you believe you have the book in your hands?
No, absolutely not. I can't believe that I've come to this stage now where it's actually here and it's ready for launch. It was something that I was working towards and had dreamt that I could do, but didn't think it was possible. But I suppose working with Shane as well made it quite easy for me, because he got me and he got where I was coming from and how I could explain my journey to him in my own words.
Is it an open invitation for the book launch?
Yes, this invitation is open to everybody. Anyone that feels they'd like to join us on the night as a family, we'd love everybody to come and have a listen and see what they think. Okay,
so it's the Park Hotel. It's Thursday night, tonight, when this is going out. What time?
6:30 to 8:30.
6:30 to 8:30. Did you ever expect that you'd be thrust into the limelight? Like, you had a 2-page interview in the Sunday Independent. You have a book published now. Has this come as a surprise to you, or how do you feel about this idea of doing interviews, going on the telly, going on the radio, doing the Sunday Independent?
This isn't me at all. It has come as a total surprise to me. But every interview I have done, I've got such positive feedback from the journalists, people who have interviewed me. So for that reason, I'm proud, but it's not me. I'm not a person that wants to be in the front line. I take the back seat. But I feel that this book has obviously sent a strong signal out there to others who are victims of abuse or maybe going through abuse at the moment. And I think this book has just caught the attention of people of how you deal with abuse in other ways, like my running, and taking that stress from you, or giving you a chance to express yourself as a person and start to try and rebuild your life again.
Why have you written this book?
I think writing this book is something that has given me a lot of freedom in myself, because going through writing it has brought up a lot of memories for me that I wouldn't have normally maybe spoke about. And I feel that my body is a lot cleaner. I suppose I'm getting more confidence in myself, and I feel that this book is going to do justice for what I wanted. I always wanted something good to come from this bad story. And for me, this was the way to do it.
Did you do it for money?
No, absolutely not. I wish.
Because people would have this perception that you do a book, you earn thousands upon thousands and you become multi-millionaire. That's not the case.
No, people have said that to me, that, you've got money even. I mean, through my court case, through everything, I've received nothing. I'm doing this book with the intention that it's going to be read by others. Even if it's not sexual abuse. Maybe somebody's going through a difficult time in their life or having a different path that they feel they can't take. I think this book is going to give them a little bit of inspiration of ways that they can deal with mental issues that they have in their life.
Did you find it difficult, that process where thoughts and memories were coming up again? Because part of the book and part of the whole process and the way paedophiles work is to suppress and to keep all those memories down.
I found it was hard starting off, but I suppose Shane and myself had gelled quite easily, and I felt very confident around Shane, which made it a lot more easier for me to speak of the things that had happened to me. Shane has a great way about him. And, he's dealt in psychology and that, so he's used to dealing with situations. So I think for me, Shane was the perfect match. There was nobody else I would have contemplated even doing this book with. That for me, difficult, yes, but in a good way. Because the more I was getting off my chest, the clearer my own head and my own body was becoming. I know people might think that, I'm doing it, as you said, it's for money, it's, because everybody will think, I'm great, I wrote a book. It's not about that. It's for a reason. This book is there for a reason. Like,
undoubtedly, Batty Prendergast will read this book. He'll be given this book. He'll read it in prison. He's locked up behind bars for the horrendous abuse he caused to you and to Deirdre and to others. What would you think about him reading this book?
Well, I hope that it'll bring a lot of his memories back to him, where it will make him stop and think, that this abuse really did affect me at the time and is still affecting me, and that maybe this will feel some pain for him more than what he's feeling right now. He has a long sentence to serve, but, justice was done. And for me, people maybe look at it and think it was too long a sentence, or, this shouldn't have come to light. The courts prevailed and I won my case with Deirdre, and, the truth came out and it won in the end. So this shouldn't have to be something that I have to carry.
And the fact that truth coming out and the fact that truth being put down in a document here, a book, it's something solid. It's something that'll last. It'll something when we're all dead and gone, that'll still be there.
Yes.
And it's a story of so many different people, but it's your story.
Yes. It's truly my story. Like Shane and I discussed that. Like this is my story completely. And like this book will be here for my children and great-grandchildren and grandchildren, everybody. Like you say, when I'm dead and gone, maybe somebody else will pick up this book. But I do hope that, things will have changed for the good of abuse by then. By bringing out this book and again talking out historical cases, people feel that being historical case, it still shouldn't be heard about or thought about or spoke about. I think this book is sending out a signal. It doesn't matter how many years. It doesn't matter how long. If somebody has done this to you, be it male or female, that is the victim of this, you have a right to speak out and, go to the justice about it and see where you can get.
Do you think there are people in Dungarvan and West Waterford in particular that are worried about reading this book, that are fearful because they have held back on secrets and that they still hold back on secrets?
Yes, I would definitely agree that there's people fearing what I have in this book, but everything in the book is truth. And as I say, it's my life story. It's not all about my abuse. It's about me growing up. It's about my childhood. It's about a beautiful family that I grew up in. I think the story in it is actually a beautiful story, if you can call such a book a nice book. But I do think there's people fearing my launch tonight and thinking, you know, what's in this book? Are they trying to stop it? I don't know. Would they prefer I hadn't wrote this book? Possibly, yes.
There are people out there that didn't want you to write this.
Yes, definitely, yeah. You know,
just like they didn't want you to
speak out.
To speak out.
You know, they didn't want me to go to court. They didn't want me to speak out. And definitely, yeah, there's people here that still don't want this book to go ahead. But I'm very confident, because the feedback from me is enough to say that, you know, other journalists, the confidence, the reviews I'm getting, you know, that my book it tells a story, and it tells a story of so many people, not just me.
So this book is not an act of revenge?
Absolutely not. There is no revenge in this book. This book is for me, for my children and for my family. And this book, as you say, is something that I will always have, and it'll remain. Like, I was asked by the Sunday Independent, is there a second book in me? You know, and I laughed and I said, oh God, you know, absolutely not. It's just a journey that I wanted to take, and I wanted to promote mental health, abuse, everything. And I've covered all of that in it.
Is there people out there in Dungarvan and West Waterford that still deny the truth, that are still holding back on secrets, and that might still know things that might still be important to the Gardaí?
I still feel there's people holding back, and that there is more truth to come out of this. And I feel I'm getting a lot of the blame. You know, going forward, it's mainly I'm the one that's causing all of this, because I suppose I'm more, as you say, in the media. Like,
are you being singled out? Are you being bullied? Are you still being abused?
Yes, I'm definitely being the singled out of the party. I suppose, like you said, it's all the interviews. Did I ever think that I would get interviewed? Did I ever think I would write a book? Did I ever think so many people, you know, would be ringing me, asking me for interviews, for magazines, for papers? No, I didn't. I didn't think when I walked out of the courts in Dublin that this was the road, you know, was going to come to me. But I firmly believe I face this road as genuine as I can.
How is that abuse manifesting itself? Are people talking behind your back? Are they bad-mouthing you?
Oh yes, definitely, yeah. They're bad-mouthing me, and, you know, I'm having some backlash from it. But I feel that I'm not going to stop. You know, I have been bullied before through my abuse, and now it's time for me to stand tall, because I'm proud of what I've done, and I don't think I've hurt anybody else in the process of doing this. And my family support me 100%, my children and my partner. And, you know, that for me, I don't think I deserve to be spoken about behind my back. Yes, people have come back and said stuff to me. And, you know, even we've had a bereavement, you know, shortly there, only last April. And 3 days later, I started this book after losing my dad. And it was a very, very difficult process for me. But I think he gave me strength in those 2 days that me and Shane spent together doing this book. But, you know, people kind of confronted me and, you know, said some things to me that weren't true. And, you know, my dad was waked at home. And I know you were there yourself. And, you know, over 1,000 people came through our house. It went on for so long, the wake, we just couldn't believe that Dad was such a popular person. But that house was open to everybody, and nobody was stopped from coming through the doors, or nobody was refused to come to the house at any time.
When you got the first copy of the book in your hand last week, what did you feel? When you opened the envelope, or when you got it, what did you think?
I cried when I received it first, because it was on post, and he had this parcel, you know, and he said, can you sign for it? And I didn't really know what it was. And I opened it, and it was just when I looked, I just started crying. And I just wanted to celebrate straight away, because I was like, oh my God, it's mine, this is it, it's here, it's finished. You know, it's in my hands, and there's no turning back. It's here, it's done, and I'm proud of it. And it just, I can't describe the feeling. The feeling was absolutely amazing. to know that I've been believed, I've fought the battle and I've won. I'm probably still fighting some battles, but I don't intend to back down. And if that takes me to a place where I'm left, with my family to stand by me, that's okay. But for me, I'm Stephanie, and I'm going to fight on and live another day.
How is your sister Deirdre?
Deirdre's doing great. She's all excited as well on Thursday. I've told her to be ready because she'll have to say her few words as well. And
all the family
to be sure and ready for her photograph with me. And, she's been on this journey as well. And we have emotional days, both Deirdre and I. We've had Mam's birthday there recently and we talked about things and we're all emotional. It still is a very raw, emotional time for Deirdre and I. And I think for Deirdre alone, she still is probably a little bit more emotional than I am because of her protecting her sister. I think she still holds that little bit inside her where she feels she could have protected me. But I'm hoping by this book, it's giving her that little bit of freedom of letting go and knowing that I'm okay and that I'm doing these interviews and I'm stronger than what she thinks I am. I think she thinks she still needs to kind of look after her baby sister, just that little bit.
Any chance of the Late Late Show, TV3, Virgin Media, you'll get on them, but possibly the Late Late, you never know. We'll see.
Never know. There's a few, and I've done a few of the magazines there last week, Country Living and Woman's Way, so they're all due out now this month as well, and Ireland AM for next week hopefully, so I'm looking forward to that. It's an amazing experience for such an ordinary person to come from a small village in Turnina, and again, it's not about the fame, getting on these things, it's again getting my message across. I really, really want my message to be heard so strong. And my goal, I suppose, at the end of this book is to visit schools and to speak to older children that are maybe being bullied in different ways or finding it hard to talk about maybe a situation that they don't feel comfortable with, and to let them hear my side of the story or put some questions to me of how I dealt with eventually coming out and talking about it.
And the running, I know you're injured at the minute, you've a slip disc in your back, but the running has been a lifesaver for you.
Absolutely, the running, and I mean, Turnina Running Club at the moment, I have to highlight, we've got a track in Turnina now, a running track. There's not one, I think, between here and Waterford, so I'm very proud of all that club that have formed this track, and they've kept me strong through the last few weeks. I've been so laid up with these two discs. They text me and they say they miss me and they can't wait for me to be back. They're an absolute brilliant support to me, the running club. And we have maybe 61, 62 people 3 nights a week walking and running on that track now. So for a small club in Turnina to be able to do this, it just goes to show that other people are using these facilities for other aspects of their life, to get out, to meet, to have a crack and have a laugh and make new friends. So again, I think it's like in my book, having a way out for you in the evening time or to de-stress. You'll always find someone you can have a chat with. If you want to have a cry, it's quite all right. Someone else, there's always someone there to listen and drag you on to the next level. So hopefully when I get back running, they'll be able to drag me because I'll be starting from scratch again.
Good luck with the book launch. I'll be there myself. Thank you for asking me to help you out. I'm delighted and honoured, and the very best of luck with the sales, and hello to all the family. You'll see them later.
Okay, thank you very much, Damien.
Thank you, Stephanie. Text in from Tony. What a woman. I hope the book is a bestseller. Well done. Lauren has texted in about voting. Damien, we've 4 TD, so at the very least it's a good idea to vote at least 1, 2, 3, 4. Another person has texted in. Eamon has texted back in about the surplus thing. It seems the correct answer is that all the votes are checked, but only on the first count. After that, only the votes that brought you over the quota are checked. Yes, Eamon, that's what I think Seamus was suggesting. That puts it very well. So on the first count, all the votes are checked, in other words, if there is a surplus there. Damien, the staff at Little Mischief in Piltown are fantastic and do amazing work with the children. They even won Small Business of the Year last year. which is a testament to the respect they're getting from the parents. It is not fair, the money they're spending upskilling and not getting the rewards that teachers are getting with the same qualifications. Damien, what's the name of the book? It's called Running from the Shadows. Running from the Shadows from Stephanie Hickey, published by Hachette. Another texter, what a brave lady. It's going to be launched tonight in Dungarvan in the Park Hotel. Now, thank you very much. We are going to be talking to Jerry just after this. Now, welcome back to the programme. Jerry Ahern is joining me in studio. We'll talk to Jerry in a second. Morning, Jerry.
Good morning, Damien.
Thanks for joining us. And we're going to have Breed O'Mara on the line as well. We'll talk to Breed in a second. Damien, I never knew Stephanie was launching her book tonight. I met her in the Aldi in Dungarvan recently. We had a great chat. Damien, if you leave 7 blank boxes free in your ballot paper, they don't go to any other party, do they? No, they don't. If you leave it blank, it doesn't go anywhere. Magella has phoned in to say, wondering, is Stephanie getting paid for magazine interviews? Well, Magella, my attitude with these things is I hope she is, because she hasn't got a penny from Batty Prendergast. She had suffered years of abuse, and it doesn't come down to money. Money cannot paper over the abuse. But if you're a 12, 13, 14-year-old child, boy or girl, and you're abused and it affects your life in such a way, I hope she does get paid something for it, to be honest. Now, we're going to talk to Jerry Ahern, Aware Waterford, and I think Breed is on the line. Good morning, Breed.
Good morning, Damien.
Thank you very much. Jerry. Hi, Jerry. You can put on your headphones there, Jerry, if you want, and we'll be able to talk to Breed there as well. I'm going to talk to Jerry first briefly, Breed. You are Director of Services, Breed, and Jerry is the Aware Waterford facilitator. Aware, as people know, is Ireland's national mental health charity. It's launched a volunteer recruitment campaign for its Waterford support and self-care group to facilitate peer-to-peer support for individuals. Talk to me about this, Jerry. Why is this needed? Why have you launched this?
Aware is a... Sorry, I just take the headphones off for a second, Damien, if I may. Aware is a national voluntary organisation that provides support to people who are suffering from depression, bipolar and other mood-related disorders. And the Aware support groups, or peer-to-peer support groups, some people call them, this was established back in 1985 in Dublin at St Patrick's Hospital. And they found out is that people who were actually experiencing depression and bipolar, that when the treatment, as part of the treatment, they found that when they came together and they were able to talk and share what they were experiencing and to be able to share their coping skills. And this was the whole, I suppose, genesis of it. And if I may, I'll just mention him. I hope he's listening in there. There was a man there in Tramore in Waterford, John O'Connor, better known as Johnny O'Connor. And if he's listening in, I wish Johnny well. And he was instrumental in setting up the Aware group in Waterford back in the 1980s, way before my time. Now, going back to the key question we asked there, Damien, is we meet each Tuesday night at St Patrick's Hospital, at St Patrick's Gateway, St Patrick's Gateway, Patrick Street, Waterford, from at 7:30 until 9 p.m. And persons who are experiencing depression, bipolar and other mood-related disorders, they come, and typically a group would be about 8 to 10 attendees, and you would have 2 facilitators. I'm a facilitator myself. And we have certain, if you like, ground rules that we have first, and we introduce the ground rules first. And then we go around and we just invite the attendees just to provide their first names. And then this space is now open. So it provides a safe space for the attendees to be able to tell us how they've been feeling over the past week. And amongst the peer group then, they can share coping skills. So that's the very essence of it.
Breed, you still there, Breed? You are?
Yes, I am, yeah. I don't know what's... Oh, there, it's gone.
Something in the background there. Can you...
Yes, there is, yeah.
Okay, you can hear me there now.
I can. Sorry, there seems to be some problem here. We all have to leave the building.
Okay, we'll let you go.
I'm going to step outside and I'll be able to continue the interview there. My sincere apologies.
No, not at all, not at all. You're in Dublin at a conference, I know, and one of the things that you mentioned is that there's more than 400 volunteers nationwide, and volunteers gain as much as they give in that respect as well, don't they?
Absolutely. I think Jerry has summed up very well what happens in a group, but we hear from our volunteers all the time how much they get from the volunteering experience. So a lot of people come to volunteer because they say they would like to give something back, and they like to give something back to their community. But what they find is the benefits to them as well of being in that space and observing people supporting each other, and that because obviously the groups cannot run without the facilitators, and because they are there to facilitate the group, the sense of well-being that they get themselves from the fact that they have been there to facilitate the space is enormous. We would hear our volunteers say all the time that they feel they get much more than they give in the environment, which is a wonderful thing to hear from volunteers who are giving up of their free time to permit people to come together like that and to support each other in a very safe space.
Super, Breed. We'll let you get back in there because the line isn't brilliant. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry, Damien.
Not at all, you're fine, 100%. We'll continue the chat here. Breed O'Mara, thanks very much, Director of Services with Aware. Jerry, you can take off your headphones there again now. In terms of looking for volunteers, you meet, as you say, in St Patrick's Gateway Centre in the city every Tuesday evening from 7:30 to 9. Do you need more volunteers? You always need more volunteers.
We do. I mean, if volunteers by the average lifespan of a volunteer across the whole spectrum of volunteerism is about 18 to 20 months.
Wow.
People may not be aware of that. In most organisations, and if you look at any organisation, whether it's the sport and community, social, whatever the case may be, if you get about 2 years out of a volunteer, you're doing well. Now, you'll always have the small hardcore volunteers who we might define as lifers, but they're far and few between. So we need volunteers, and it's a commitment, 3 hours per week. And what we do is, because that you would do 3 weeks on the trot. In other words, it's 3 successive Tuesday nights, and then you take a break. And in order for us to maintain the peer-to-peer or support meetings in Waterford, we need volunteers. We're down now to about 4 volunteers. Ideally, we would need about a minimum of 6.
Okay.
And the training it's a great training for the volunteers as well, because you have to go through Garda vetting, which is understandable, and then you also have to attend 3 weekends training in Dublin. And then you come in and you'll sit in then with an experienced facilitator, and you will then go through 4 meetings with a facilitator, and then before you become, if you like, a facilitator yourself. But you're never alone, because of the nature of the businesses. We always have 2 facilitators on, because in case we had, let's say, a challenging meeting, to say the least, we have to check in with ourselves as well, because our mental health is also important as a facilitator. So that's very, very important.
Now, how can people get in touch with you if they want to...
Yes, well, a pity, I suppose, that the line broke down with Breed. She's the Director of Services in Dublin. But what I would say is go on to the Aware website. It's simply aware.ie. I would also mention as well that I will be at St Patrick's Gateway in Patrick Street next Tuesday night. That's the 11th. I'm on duty as well. So I will be there. The meeting starts at 7:30 p.m. Now, anybody interested, they can attend at St Patrick's Gateway at next Tuesday night at 6:45 p.m. I will be there personally myself, and if they've got any question or query they may have, I certainly will answer it for them there and then.
And I know the email address, very simple, recruitment@aware.ie. There's a telephone number on the website there as well, but just aware.ie and recruitment@aware.ie. And if anybody wants to give a ring to the station here, we'll pass on their number to you as well.
They have a Facebook page and and have a website, as I said, aware.ie. So you get all the information there. I don't wish to bombard people with too much information, just to get the key message out there. And I think Breed, she just touched one point there about volunteerism in the broader context of things. We know research shows that that volunteers get back an awful lot. There's this sense of engagement and fulfilment. But if you ask me, what did I get out, or what do I actually get out of Aware? I will tell you is it's actually developing my listening skills, because I'm dealing with people that have, let's say, issues in life, dealing with mental health issues. So you have to develop great listening skills and great empathy. That's to understand where those people are coming from.
Jerry Ahern, thanks very much.
You're very welcome, Damien.
Appreciate it, and anything we can do to help promote Aware in the future, we certainly will.
Lovely, thank you very much.
Keep in touch.
Appreciate
Jerry,
that. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Have you laughing already, huh?
Oh, yeah.
They're going to start shouting and roaring and singing here and everything. It's great. Can you sing, can you?
Sort of.
Yeah. What's that?
Somewhat.
Yeah, go on. Give us an old blast or something there. Go on. Go at Peligo.
How many
Right, okay, here we go. Do you want, we're not live now, are we?
We are live, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
okay. Do you want to give us a...
I know, I was only kidding, but go on, sing a little bit if you want there. Yeah, give us something.
First verse, Blowing in the Wind. Okay. How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? How many seas must the white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand. How many times must the cannonball fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Oh, Damien, up to Deise.
You didn't expect to be singing first thing in the morning, did you?
You thought we only knew how to pray.
Well, you can pray through song as well. Sister Colleen, Sister Sean and Sister Carolyn, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Father Joe Tobin, how are you, Joe?
Thanks, Damien. Thanks for having us here.
Wonderful to have you in. There's a concert in aid of St Patrick's Church in Georgia Street in the centre and the development of the Ladies' Home taking place on the 12th of February. At 7:30 in the church, St Patrick's Church in Georgia Street. Music by High Hopes Choir, Durdawn Choir and local singers. €10 at the door, and you can get tickets at the Cathedral office as well. We'll give that a mention at the end, but I want to make sure we know why we have you in here. Where are you from, ladies? Tell me a little bit about yourselves first.
I'm from Jacksonville, Florida.
Sister Caroline.
Colleen.
Yeah.
You'll have to assume...
I'm Sister Sean, and I'm from Connecticut.
I'm Sister Carolyn, and I'm also from Connecticut.
What order are you with?
We're called the Apostles of the Sacred Heart of Jesus.
Why are you in Ireland?
It's a great question.
Well, for many years, the Irish missionaries had come over to the States to help to evangelize in mission territory, especially in California, out west, I guess, basically, and down in Florida. So knowing that the church was going through somewhat of a hard time here in Ireland, our major superiors thought maybe it was time that we could come back and maybe offer our services in thanksgiving for really what the Irish missionaries had done in the States.
Sister Carolyn, do you find this strange, coming to Ireland to be a missionary in some respect?
For me, it was an adjustment, yes, but I have found the people very warm and very friendly. Very welcoming.
Because one would have thought, even 20 years ago, this would never happen.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was taught by Irish Mercy Sisters, and I had Irish priests in my parish in Jacksonville, Florida. And ironically, now they've come back home to retire. And so it's just been a kind of like just a circle, of relationships, really.
Joe, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Damien.
Your involvement with the High Hopes Choir?
That's right, Damien. And I'm only a messenger today from the High Hopes. I've been involved in the High Hopes for the last 4 years, and we've gone from strength to strength. We're looking forward to this big concert on the 12th in the church to help out the sisters as best we can. It's a night of music and history. Dermot Power, a local historian, he's going to give the history on the church. It's the oldest church in Ireland, where we're told. And like Durdawn, our Bishop Alphonsus, he's going to sing down there that night. And we have a couple of special guests, and the three sisters and myself, we're singing "Blowing in the Wind." We just gave you a preview there, unplugged. So on the night, it will be fantastic, I hope.
Bob Dylan wouldn't have been a very religious person, and yet his music has a philosophical, I suppose, longevity. Do you find it strange that you can take songs like that and put them out in a message that you want to, I suppose, espouse?
It's funny because even as we were rehearsing, the line that I sing is, "How many deaths must it take till he knows that too many people have died?" And I'm just thinking of the state, just even in the United States with all of the school shootings, like how long is it going to take us to realize that we need to change something? So it's very relevant for our times.
How long are you here, Sister Sean? How long will you be here for?
I've been here for 2.5 years now. And our mission, the Apostles, have had a presence here in Waterford for 4 years.
Very good. We'll talk about that mission now in a second, okay? Don't go anywhere. You can sing a little bit now when we're off there. Now, Sister Colleen has just asked me, what's my most interesting interview in the last year? I can't think. You have me on the spot now. You should do your own chat show, actually. That'd be good fun, wouldn't it?
Oh, maybe.
Divine inspiration.
Yeah.
How difficult or how easy has it been? I had a good chat with Fonzie, with Bishop Alphonsus here recently. It's difficult being a Catholic in a world which is increasingly secularised, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, the message is very strong that you have, and you're so proud and happy to give that message and be missionaries within that. But it's kind of like swimming against the tide sometimes, is it? How does it feel?
Well, it feels awkward a lot of the time, especially when we first came. We would walk down the street and people would kind of look at us and, make some strange faces like, what are they doing here? Who are they, But over the years of being here for a few years, some of that awkwardness has worn away and people have gotten to know us. And it's amazing how when you actually get to know people and they get to know you, a lot of that just disappears because they start to see the person instead of maybe just the clothes that we wear, because we wear habits.
Yeah. Because we talk about you should never judge a book by its cover. So by wearing the habit, by being identified as a nun, you are a person that has a message to give, which is not necessarily, you're not going to force it down anybody's throat. Sister?
No, we're not going to force it down anyone's throat. The message that we give by how we dress, there's also another message behind that, is that we are normal people like anyone else. We come from families, families that have difficulties and challenges, and that's how we are able to relate to other people. So there's more to us than just our message. We become our message, but behind that is the humanity, very much so.
And do you still find, Sister Sean, like a lot of people would have had very good experiences with the Catholic Church and with Catholicism in the last number of years. A lot of people would have had bad experiences, and we talk about the abuse and all that sort of thing. Does that still come up in conversations?
I don't think as much anymore, at least with the people that we have interacted with. I mean, we certainly have talked about it and mentioned it, but I think it's the idea that we want to move on and we want to offer them the hope, the mercy, and the faith. So that really is the message that we would like to deliver.
Joe, do you think people are looking for answers? No matter where they're looking for answers, looking for meaning in this world?
I think so, Damien. I think the new generation coming up, the 20s to 30s, they're on a different planet as far as I'm concerned, because they don't
What planet are they on?
A lot of them don't go to Mass, which is a big... Yeah. It's a pity, really, because we went to Mass as young people, and we got the bit of faith and we held on to it, whoever, So...
But some of the things,
around.
and from my experience as well, I would have been very religious when I was younger, and I would have lost that faith in certain respects, have a deep philosophical view about life now. But again, some of the things that are said at Mass would be anathema to what some people are feeling. So again, there's conflict sometimes, not because it's anybody's fault as a priest, but life experience is different. So do you feel to get out there and talk to the young people as well is important?
Well, I think what the sisters are doing over here is very good. They're going to the schools. Like, we go into the schools with the High Hopes Choir and we explain to the students about drug abuse, about the we'll say, the ups and downs of life. And these are all 13, 14-year-old kids, and they're riveted to the seat. And then we give them a few songs and everything is good. So we bring it into first hand into the schools and tell them about drugs, and we tell them about homelessness, and we tell them about the ins and outs of life in so many words. And they all get something from it.
Sister Colleen, has your experiences here, has it reinforced your faith?
Oh, that's a great question. Yes, only because I think that I've had to rely on God and trust in Him, perhaps more than ever before, simply because we're not working with an audience that is ready to accept Jesus Christ or God. In fact, we're having to kind of, I guess you could say, humble ourselves and just meet people where they are. And so if we're talking about soccer for 30 minutes to the kids at the school, that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing. Because, please God, at the end of the day, they're feeling loved which is our whole message.
And that humility, Sister Carolyn, that's important.
Yes, the humility, yes. I also feel, though, that the dichotomy between what the church teaches and where people are culturally, I believe that that bridge can be gapped by discussion. Not arguments, but discussion. And that's what we really try to do with the students and also with the adults, to have them share their thoughts. And I don't think philosophy as well as science is against religion. I don't think they oppose each other. They work together.
Yeah, there's big arguments and discussions on that. Like you could have, we were talking about yoga, for example, and obviously statements about yoga. And like, you don't do yoga, do you?
We don't have time.
But you know what I mean? Like, again, discussions are very important, and then how then one leads one's life, how you practice. So you don't have to be, and a lot of people I think would feel that they're very good people without being holy people.
And good and holy go together. And what do people understand by being holy? It's not having your hands put together in prayer all the time. It's really living according to God's law, which is the law of love, really, and respect for one another. There's so many basic attitudes that belong to our faith. And I think people just categorize that and put it into laws and regulations and do's and don'ts. And that's what it's not about. If there's a relationship with Christ, it changes everything.
Can you have religion without a God, Sister Sean?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. I think you have to have a belief, and a belief in someone. That would be perhaps so that would hopefully lead you to God. And that's what we've been, matter of fact, the last couple of sessions that we've worked with some of our students, trying to show them the need or the necessity to find God, and we can find him just through everyday creation. And so to allow the children to voice their feelings, their thoughts, and then once they hear themselves talk, they can challenge one another as to what they really believe in.
Where are you staying, Sister Colleen? How's your accommodation going, or how's that working out?
It's great. We're on Johns Hill. And so we've got a lovely little house, and we're right in the middle of a lot of things, and we have neighbors that we're friendly with, so it's a really nice location.
Yeah. And food, everything going well there?
We eat well, as you can tell.
There's not a lot of difference between Irish food and food from America. We didn't find the food problems.
Yeah. Less deep fat frying in certain parts of America, or more deep fat frying in certain parts, The onions, the blooming onions in deep fat. Oh, God, no, you could never eat those. Joe, did you ever eat a blooming onion, no?
I didn't, Damien, no, I never didn't get that far.
It's going to be a big concert. Tell us a little bit about who's going to be there as well. Who is the Dordawn Choir?
Dordawn Choir, Damien, they're a local choir, male choir, and they do a lot of charity events.
Yes.
Tom O'Leary is our contact. Tom is working with the sisters in relation to the church, and that's how I got to meet the three sisters plus Tom. And
what do you want to do is also with the church itself, St. Patrick's Church? You want to hopefully renovate it, and I know the pavement, the pathway outside was done. And
well, the pathway it's open now. It was closed for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Basically, we're having a look at the roof. The roof needs to be looked at. So it's all going to take money, and everybody is looking for money these days,
And if I could jump in and just add a little something there, we're really hoping to refurbish what was once known as the Ladies' Home, which is adjacent to the church on Georgia Street.
Okay.
And we're hoping to create a welcoming gathering space for people to come, feel safe, and have a cup of tea and a biscuit.
Yep. Yes, a safe place, a welcoming place where we would like to offer tea and biscuits to nourish their bodies, and also offer listening ears so that they can come and nourish their spirits and have that dialogue, which we find so important.
How much money is that going to take? It's going to take thousands, I presume.
Well, yes. Basic estimate, 300 to 400,000 euro.
Wow.
And that's probably going to be increased as time would go on.
And are you starting from scratch, or have you got a few bob already?
basically starting from scratch.
Okay. So this concert, again, it's €10 in. There's an entry, there's a door prize as well. If tickets available from the Cathedral office, or to contact yourself, Joe.
Yeah, that's right, Damien. Yeah.
I'll give out your number because it's on the poster.
It's on the poster,
087 132 9635, but a lot of people would know you around the town. So this will kick-start it.
Yeah, this will kickstart. And I got a phone call this morning, Damien, from Tommy Collins. He's a good friend of yours, he said.
Yeah.
And Tommy sang in the church 80 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, De La Salle used to have a Latin mass there 80 years ago, and all the students. And Tommy said he was number 2 in the choir. Now, you can take that with a pinch of salt, you know. So he said he was asking for Damien. And,
is he going to come along?
No, he's going to come along on the night,
Isn't that great?
And if I had to know that, I could have got him to sing a song.
Yeah,
but sure.
yeah. And we might see him on the night. I might even go along myself, you know. Listen, sisters, thank you so much. Sister Colleen, Sister Sean, Sister Carolyn, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Joe, thank you very much. Good luck with the concert. It's on the 12th of February, 7:30, St. Patrick's Church in Georgia Street.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Damien, for having us. Thank you.
Now, thank you everybody for joining us this morning. Thanks, Julie, for producing. Jeff is up next. Thanks to Joe and the ladies for coming in. Good luck with your ticket sales. Hope it works well for you. We'll talk to you again soon. And thanks everybody for all your texts and comments. And good luck to Stephanie Hickey in her book launch tonight in the Park Hotel in Dungarvan. We're back tomorrow with a lot more. Only one day to go before the election. Oh, God, can't wait till it's over.